A very good morning. This is Mohammed Hani from second CSCB section, and the topic for my presentation is thread priority, that is synchronization in Java. Hmm. So, introduction to thread priority. Before we go into the introduction to thread priority, we have to understand what is a thread. So, thread is basically single smallest unit of execution. In real world, we can think that whenever you open multiple tabs in your respective default browser, each different tab acts as a different thread. So, what is thread priority in the sense? We assign certain priority to a particular thread in order to execute first rather than the priority with which it is less to execute the next. In Java, thread priority is represented by an integer value ranging from 1 to 10. And basically, the default value of norm priority is set to 5. And importance of thread priority. Why is thread priority important? So it can influence the performance and responsiveness of applications. So higher priority threads may preempt lower priority threads, providing more CPU time to critical tasks. See, basically, whenever there are multiple threads, we have to assign certain priority to each thread. Like if we consider some critical tasks need to be addressed first, so that which are to be addressed first are given with the highest priority, and these higher priority threads actually preempt in the sense the lower priority threads which are executing, they actually stop them and get into the consideration to actually execute. Setting thread priority. How do we set thread priority in Java? In Java, we use set priority int new priority method in order to set a thread. And to retrieve the thread's priority, we actually use get priority method. And this is how we set the thread priority in Java programming. Thread scheduling and Java virtual machine. Java's thread scheduling is primarily managed by underlying operating system. Yeah, it it is not constant in every operating system. If we give certain priority to the threads to execute, then it will actually behave in different ways in different operating systems based on their underlying operating system of the system. And Java virtual machine does not guarantee that higher priority methods will always run before lower priority threads. Yes, if it is like that, see in Windows, if I have assigned a higher priority to the first task, then in other operating systems like Linux or Mac OS, it is not same in this case. Like it might get the lowest priority in those operating systems. So we could say that it is primarily managed by the underlying operating system. And what is synchronization in Java? Synchronization in the sense we actually assign the process in a process of execution, like which thread to execute first and which for executing at the last or the next. And this prevents thread interference and ensures data consistency by controlling the access of threads to shared data. We have in Java programming synchronized keyword, which is used to achieve synchronization in Java. And types of synchronization. We have basically two types of synchronizations. First is uh, the which locks entire method. That is method level synchronization. See, in Java we have certain methods. So all of this Java is actually locked in the entire method. In the sense, this method in the Java programming is locked during the synchronization. This is released until and unless the next method is executed. And the next thing is block level synchronization. See, when we think about the block level synchronization, we actually address that as in a particular programming language. In the sense, particularly Java, a certain block of code is only locked. But in the previous case, it was entire method. But here only certain block level was locked. The synchronized keyword. What is synchronized keyword? As we have already discussed that to maintain the synchronization of Java programming, we use the synchronized keyword, and it is applicable to instance methods, static methods of or blocks of code. When a thread is synchronized, it acquires an intrinsic lock for the object. See, whenever we assign a synchronization to a particular method, then the intrinsic lock is actually assigned for the object. Other threads attempting to access the same method must wait until the lock is released. Yeah, just like as you mentioned, other threads, if they try to acquire the resources from this particular thread which is executing the process, then it should mustn't wait until the lock is released for the by the first thread that is attempting to access. Thread safety and synchronization. Thread safety ensures that shared data is accessed by only one thread. See, if in real life example, if we consider whenever the results are released in a website, when multiple people are trying to access the website, then it might crash. Like we might get a message like this site can't be reached. So this is actually we have to maintain thread safety in order such that only one thread to be accessed at a time. And using synchronization, thread safety can be achieved. Potential issues with thread priority and synchronization. So, so far we have been discussing about the advantages of thread priority, and now we'll discuss about the what are the potential risks, potential issues of thread priority. See, whenever we give thread priority and synchronization, it leads to deadlocks and thread starvation. See, for example, the task with higher priority only getting the priorities. The tasks which are critical only getting the higher thread priority. So this is not in this case. So we acquire deadlocks in the sense the one process is trying to acquire the resource of other process, and that particular process is trying to acquire the resource from this process. So this leads to the deadlocks and leads eventually towards the starvation. Starvation can happen when the lower priority threads are perpetually preempted by higher priority threads. So what are the best practices for thread priority and synchronization? We use thread priorities judicially to avoid performance issues and ensure fair resource allocation. Yeah, that is what. In Java programming, we use this for fair resource allocation. And testing and profiling multi-threaded applications are essential for identifying and resolving concurrency related issues. Concurrency in the sense the overlap of the acquiring of particular resources from the process. So whenever multiple threads are trying for the same resource to be acquiring, we get the overlapping method, which is resolving the concurrency. And that's all for the presentation. Thank you for your patience listening.